If you're following the Canadian real estate market, you might be seeing posts online about properties selling over the asking price. In fact, I've seen multiple posts on Facebook and Twitter showing that many markets across Canada are seeing bidding wars and many properties are selling above the asking price. This is also happening here in Ottawa. Let's dive into this and see what's really going on and what this means for buyers and sellers. My name is Roch St-Georges. I'm a real estate broker in Ottawa. I help families and individuals with the purchase, sale, or rental of real estate in our city. So let's start off with some posts. Here's a post from Scott Ingram confirming 33% of all houses sold in Toronto last week were sold over the asking price. Jesse Klein from BC is telling us that in Surrey, some properties are receiving multiple offers. One of these listed over $1 million received 48 offers. Finally, Saman Habibi from the Durham region said that in the second half of January, nearly 50% of all properties sold over the asking price. Bank Canada and the Federal Reserve in the States are raising rates. Inflation is still running high, and this has been evident everywhere, especially in our grocery stores. So what exactly is going on? Why are we seeing so many stories about properties selling over the asking price? I had to look at our local Ottawa Real Estate Board data to see if we are seeing the same thing here locally. 618 residential and condominium class properties sold in January through the Ottawa Real Estate Board. 73 of these properties sold over the asking price, representing roughly 12% of all listings. In January, if you were a buyer, there was 1 in 10 chance that you would have had to submit an offer over the seller's asking price if you were looking to secure a property. Let's look at this graph. Properties in the $500,000 to $700,000 range seem to be those selling the most for over the asking price. But as we can see, there's still 6 properties that sold over the asking price in January for over $1 million. So we can see that properties are selling for over asking, but it seems to be far from what other metropolitan areas are seeing. The lower inventory seen in December and January could be the reason why some property types and certain price ranges are seeing more activity and buyers are willing to pay over the asking price. In the graph on the screen, we can see in green that the number of active listings has been dropping since our peak of 3,367 in September. January saw only 2,347 new listings hit the market. This said, properties are taking longer to sell, which is converting into Ottawa having 3.8 months of inventory. The following chart is a scatter chart, and in blue we have all the properties sold during the month of January. On the x-axis we have the price range of these properties, and on the y-axis we have the days on market. As we can see, there was one property that sold for just over $6 million. I did remove it from the chart to give us a better representation. We seem to see that properties under $800,000 seem to be selling the most, with a high concentration in the $500,000 to $600,000 range. They also seem to be selling the fastest, generally under 100 days on market. The takeaway for me is, yes, some properties are selling over the asking price, but it shouldn't be something to be worried about if you're a buyer. In January, Ottawa sellers were receiving about 98.6% of their asking price. This is down from the 109% we saw in March 2021 or 107% of the asking price we saw in March 2022, as shown in the graph on the screen. This means in January, based on the average sell prices and list prices, buyers were able to negotiate on average about $22,000 off the asking price. Now, roughly 50% of the properties selling over the asking price seem to be in the $500,000 to $700,000 range. If you're shopping in this price range, things might be a bit more competitive for you. With that said, be sure to have your financing in order with your bank or lending institution prior to submitting your offer. In closing, although we are seeing stories of sellers receiving multiple offers and some properties selling over the asking price, this could simply be because those units are being listed at competitive prices. I've talked to some sellers who are concerned about the downtrend in prices we are experiencing and are concerned that over the next few months, we may be seeing an increase in inventory coming from those who cannot afford their mortgage payments or cannot refinance their homes when their mortgage term is due. They're concerned that more listings on the market could translate into further price depreciation. Many are looking to list at competitive price to attract as many buyers as possible in the early days to increase their odds of selling quickly. I'll be publishing over the weekend the January 2023 market update. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you don't want to miss it. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions about the Ottawa real estate market, reach out to me using the information on the screen. Si vous aimeriez discuter d'achat, de vente ou bien de location de propriété ici à Ottawa, n'hésitez pas à me rejoindre en utilisant l'information à l'écran. Thank you so much. Merci. Ciao.